today's video, we'll be starting off with $0, a truck, and the clothes on my back. The challenge is that I build my own farm completely from scratch. Will the locals around the town be able to help me out to help me succeed, or will I fail? Stay tuned to find out. And if you do enjoy content like this, please be sure to subscribe, leave a like, and a comment always helps. Let's get after it. Well guys, good morning and welcome back. Right now we are making our way back to, I would say my farm. More like just a field in the middle of a even bigger field. But I decided to make a stop in the town this morning, give myself a cup of coffee to kind of kickstart my day. And I made a stop at the local dealership to kind of like see how much things were going to cost coming up here in the near future. But most importantly, I still have $5,020 in the bank account right now, and it is a beautiful September morning, around 8:30 right now, and we're just getting here to the farm, or the farmstead, or just the field. We're just gonna call it the field because it's nothing right now. Oh yeah, look at that beautiful dirty Alice Chalmers. But the first things first, so I'm gonna bring up the catalog here real quick, and I'm gonna show you guys kind of what I'm interested in, something that I seen that was at the dealership. So right here we have the John Deere 8350 seeder, or I guess the seed cart, or whatever you guys want to call it. But so right now the total price, or the price for this piece of equipment right now, is $6,000, and my balance right now in the bank account is $55,020. Man, I wish it was $50,000. I need to make an extra $980, and I don't really have any work right now. Jim did give me a couple things to do the other day, but he's not going to be paying me for them because he's thinking of it as kind of a payback for the bales that he gave me, so that way I could sell to kind of kickstart my farm. But around me is kind of like an abundance of trees. I do have a lot of trees around here, so I should be able to go through and maybe chop some of these down. I know that a lot of these trees in this field around me, or in the tree lines around me, are on the land that I currently am homesteading on, or farmsteading on. So I should be able to go around and cut them down. But I'm gonna have to go into town and get myself a chainsaw for probably a couple $100. So I'm gonna go down below $5,000 in my bank account, which that's fine. You gotta spend money to make money, and right now, I mean, I do have $5,000, and that's $5,000 more dollars than what I started with. So I'm gonna head into town here real quick. I'm gonna go grab myself a chainsaw, and then I am going to get this all started. So after going to town, I quickly figured out that chainsaw was a little bit more money than what I thought it was. I thought it was gonna be about a couple $100, and well, I'm down $1,000, but I have as much money in my bank account as one of the greatest tractors that John Deere ever made, 4020. So I'm gonna take a look around here and kind of look at a lot of these trees that I have that are pretty much straight. That'll be easier to cut down and cut into logs. I do have quite a few of them. This grass is tall. Like I feel really short walking around in here. But I see a couple good trees in here. Like this one right here is pretty good. And then the one over here is also pretty good as well. I think these are all pine trees, I think they're all pine trees. But we're going to get to work on cutting these down, and then we're going to get them loaded up, taken into town or to the lumber mill, and we're going to hopefully make, I would hope for another $2,000, but I don't know exactly where wood's at on prices, and where's my pickup at. Alright, I got to grab the chainsaw at the back of my pickup, and then we're going to get started. So I immediately started getting to work at cutting down my first tree, and let's just say the steel did a great job at sawing down this tree as it fell down to the ground. I started going through and making sure that all the limbs were off the tree, so that way we can make sure that we had a good cut going through, and that way we could transport this tree without any problems. And then after I got the limbs all cut off the tree, I started going through and sectioning off the tree into pieces, and then made sure that they were at least able to be loaded up by the skid steer, and made sure that they were all within a reasonable same length of each other. And after I got what I thought was enough trees cut down, I got myself hooked up to my trailer, or Jim's trailer, and then slowly but surely I started making my way out of the farmstead and making my way towards Jim's, as I was going to be picking up his skid steer. And then once I got to Jim's, I made sure that the ramps were good on the trailer, and I made sure that the Bobcat had the right bucket on top of it, so that way we could make sure we could grab all those logs. And once we got the Bobcat loaded, we proceeded back to the farmstead. And once I made sure that I got all the trees out within the tree line, I immediately started going to work on getting them all loaded up onto the trailer.
Yeah, I ain't here to try to change your mind, trying to save you time, in case you're thinking about breaking out the bucket list. Girl, you can skip this funny business.
Then after about 20 short minutes, I was putting the last piece of lumber on my trailer. Now, it was time to make my way into town and get my paycheck for all this lumber I cut down. But we're just now leaving the lumber yard, and all of our wood sold for $4,896. We did have a $77 environmental bonus score because, well, I found out that the wood that we chopped off is apparently part of some sacred national forest or something like that, where my land falls on it and some of the trees there are not supposed to get cut down. Well, we made the mistake of cutting some of them down, and so I had to pay for that. But on the bright side, we have enough money to be able to afford that cedar. So I'm going to start making my way into town, go to the dealership, get that loaded up, and get heading back. If I remember right, think I think Jim did have some seed in his barn, and I wonder if he's willing to let me use that or buy it from him. Well, for $500, we got ourselves the 2 pallets of seed from Jim's, and now the time has come for me to get the cedar offloaded off the trailer using the Alice Chalmers. This might come as a little bit of a task because I don't understand why or how the dealership loaded up the cedar like this. But now that we got it hooked on, we're just gonna drag it across the bed here, and oh, there's gotta be a way to do this. There we go. So yeah, minimal damage to pulling it off. But let's just take a look around at this setup. So, brand new to me, John Deere 8350. See right there, 8350. This is approximately about a 10-foot wide cedar, and pulling it with the Alice Chalmers WD-45, I should be able to get my small little 5-acre field planted in a reasonable amount of time. So, let's get some seed in this thing, start putting some seed in the ground. So as you guys can see in the bottom right, the crop of choice for today is barley, and that is basically because the season for any other crop right now is kind of out of season. So I got to go through and plant some barley. I don't know exactly how barley yields. I don't know prices on barley, but all I know is that that is my only available crop for today, and that's what we're going to be planting. Let me just hop off this real quick, go back a little ways. So we got about a 100-foot stretch here that we got planted in. And right now, field info, crop type barley, growing, needs rolling. Yield potential right now, somehow it knows that it's 63%. Let me do some digging down in here. So we are looking good on our seed. So let's keep on planting. Hope we don't have any problems. Oh, end rows are complete, and we are starting now to make our first passes through the field. For being able to pull this big planter, or this big cedar, as well as it is, I mean, I'm pretty surprised. I mean, granted, yes, I am only going 4 miles an hour, so I know that it's not exactly the fastest, so I'm not breaking any land speed records by any means. I'm not about the speed, because if I make it through the winter time and I don't have any source of like some way of income or a place to sleep, I'm probably just gonna freeze. And I mean, pickup does have heat, it does, but it's not that good. Heat is not that good in that pickup, and I don't want to be in there freezing my butt off. But we are making some pretty good time. We have covered almost 1.5 acres already out of the 5 acres that we have to plant, so we're almost there. All we gotta do is keep on trucking. So I was making good time in the Alice Chalmers. Before I knew it, tragedy happened. Alright guys, this is not good at all. I was going along, and we were probably about to the quarter mark done with this field, and there was a giant boom that happened. There's coolant all over the ground. I don't know if that's oil mixed in with it too. I'm thinking the head gasket just blew out on my Alice, and that is not good because that is an expensive fix, and I don't know if they have parts for an Alice Chalmers sitting around in town, so that's going to be something that we're going to have to order in special. I got to find a way to get this disconnected, and I need to find some way to get this cedar moved off of here. So I'm going to head over to my truck real quick. I need to give Jim a call. I think Jim is the only person that can help me right now in this situation. So as soon as I got off the phone with Jim, he came riding over here really fast. He ended up bringing his 2520 He said that I could use it for the remainder of the day because I already got all his bales done. He doesn't have any use for it for today. His cows are already fed. He was being really kind enough to let me use his 2520, so I need to find a way to repay him. So I'm going to be almost broke because of this. And I still have to be able to afford other equipment to be able to harvest my barley come next year in the springtime. But we're going to get this Alice disconnected from the planter and probably tow it out of the way, probably to the edge of the field, and then we're going to get the 2520 all hooked up to the seeder. Since Jim has let me use his 2520, we're going to be able to get this field done a lot faster. We are going in between 7, 8, 9 miles an hour on seeding this field, so that's a lot better than the 4 miles an hour that we were able to do with the Alice Chalmers. So we are saving a lot of time. Time is money, and I really can't afford to be down anymore with my equipment breaking down. And honestly, I don't even know what I would do if my truck broke down. If I lost my truck, that would be terrible. Well, because I knew that I had to come back here anyway to drop off Jim's skid loader, I gave him his $500 for letting me use his 2520 John Deere. And then I figured, I might as well do a couple of the chores around here for him. Probably going to end up picking up all the bales out of that pasture for him. And then I'm just going to get his cows fed here real quick. But because Jim decided to help us out, I think that, I owe it to him to, pay my thanks. Because not only did he save the farm for the day, he probably saved the future of the farm. So because of him, I'm still up and running. I get to use his 2520 until parts come in for my Alice Chalmers, and plus, I get to drive a better piece of equipment by small amounts of standards, not by large standards, but by small standards. But we're gonna get ourselves turned around here, get heading outside of the barn, make sure none of the cows decide to run out. Get this gate shut up behind me because Bessie over here is looking like she wants to run out. And then we're going to get ourselves here in the Bobcat. And then I'm just going to run around in that pasture over there and kind of bring all the bales over here to the edge. And then, so that way we're able to load them up however we see fit. And basically just make it easier so that way, because I know Jim's just going to have me go through and probably pick all these up and move them around later on. But that's going to be my job for today. I hope tomorrow brings a little bit better news, and hopefully I can find somebody that has parts for an Alice Chalmers WD-45 laying around, but we will see what tomorrow brings. With that being said, guys, I hope you guys did like this video. If you guys did, please be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to Midwest Ag for more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace!